Hi guys, in this video we're going to have a look at how we can simplify algebraic fractions. So what I love about this particular topic is it looks horrible, but actually is quite easy. Okay, but the key thing with this one is that you are going to need to know how to factorize. So if you don't know or a bit unsure or can't remember, make sure you check out my videos on how to factorize into both single and double brackets. Okay, so let's get started then. So here's my first example. And I want to simplify it. So the first thing I'm going to do is factorize it. So because I've got an x and a 2 on this bit, and I've got 4 and an x on this bit, I know I'm going to factorize it into a single bracket. So that's what I'm going to do first. So I can take the 2 out and an x, and then that leaves me with an x and then plus 2 inside the bracket. Now the clue here is that I'm going to, if I've got an x plus 2 in the bracket here, I'm probably going to have it down here as well. So I need to factorize this, x squared minus 4. Now you might be able to just do it straight away, which is really cool. If not, remember, I told you need to make sure you can factorize. So go back and have a look through my factorizing video, but this is how we do it. So I've got my x squared here, my minus 4 goes here. X times x will get me my x squared, and then my numbers, I've got two choices. I can do 1 times 4 or 2 times 2, and these here must cancel out to be 0 because I haven't got anything to do with x in the middle here. So I want 0x. So which one I'm going to choose? I'm going to choose 2 times 2. So I'm going to have 2 and 2 there, in which case I'm going to have 2x and 2x, but obviously if I leave it like that, 2x plus 2x give me 4x, but I want nothing, so I'll change one of them to a negative. So I'm going to have minus 2x plus 2x is nothing. Brilliant. What am I left with? X squared minus 4. So my factorized answer there will be x minus 2, x plus 2. And like I said, because there's one bracket x plus 2 at the top there, I'm likely to have one at the bottom, which I do. In which case, all I do is cancel those out. So my answer is 2x on top, and then the x minus 2 on the bottom. Okay. Let's have a look at this one then. So this time I've got, well, it looks horrible, but I'm doing this times by this. Okay, so this fraction times by this fraction. So I can times the top, times the top, times the bottom, times the bottom. But before I do that, as with before, I'm going to factorize. So this one on top here, I'm going to factorize over here. A little bit of space. So my 2x squared will go there, and my minus 2 will go there. Now because I've got a coefficient, which is 2, basic coefficient means what's in front of the x squared, I have to do something slightly different. So I do 2 times minus 2, which is minus 4. So now I'm looking for numbers that multiply to get 4, same as up here. So I've got 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. This time though, I'm after getting the, picking the pair that gets me 3x. So obviously using 2 and 2, I can't get 3, but using 1 and 4, I can. So if it's plus 3, I need to have plus 4x and then minus x. Okay, so plus 4 minus x gives me my 3x. So this is my combination that I want. Once you've got this, I factorize over here, so 2x comes out. And again, if you're unsure of this, make sure you check out my other video. So 2x times what gets me 2x squared? That must be x. 2x times what gets me 4x? That must be 2. And then x times what gets me minus x? That must be minus 1. And double check it, minus 1 times 2 is minus 2. Excellent. So the top bit there will factorize to be x plus 2 and then 2x minus 1. Okay, so that's that bit there. I'm then going to factorize this one down here. Now I've got x's on both sides, so that's handy. It's just going to be a single bracket, so I'll take an x out like so. And I'm going to times that by x over x plus 2, which is obviously over here. Now remember what I said, when we're times in fractions, just times the top times the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll have x plus 2, 2x minus 1, then times the x, all over my x there, I'll put it in brackets just to make sure everyone's happy and see it's separate. Then I've got my x plus 7. Then I've got my x plus 2. See what's the same. You might already be ahead of me. X plus 2, x and x. So everything cancels apart from the 2x minus 1. And then obviously the x plus 7 on the bottom. Okay, and there you've done it. Looks horrible, turns out to be quite nice. So that's if you multiply the fractions. This one here is a little bit different because we're subtracting. It's the same if you're adding or subtracting fractions. The denominators need to be the same. Now, to be the same, you're after the lowest common multiple. So if I just use a very quick example of 2/5 plus, say, a third, because they're different, I need the lowest common multiple. Now, sometimes you get the lowest common multiple by not multiplying them, but you can always find a common multiple by timesing the denominator. So 5 times 3 would be 15. So to find the denominator, I times those together, and then obviously I can do this, work out the equivalent fraction. So 5 times 3 will give me 15, so 2 times 3 would be 6. 3 times what gets me 15? Well, 3 times 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. And then obviously you can work it out to get 11 over 15. So I'm going to use that same technique down here. So to work out what I'm going to change, what I'm going to make my denominators, I'm going to times these two together. So I'm going to have 2x plus 1, 2x plus 3, 2x plus 1, 2x plus 3. So how do I go from this one to this one? Well, I times by 2x plus 3, because I've already got my 2x plus 1, 2x plus 1. So how do I go from 2x plus 1 and then times that by 2x plus 3? I times by 2x plus 3. So I do exactly the same thing to the top. So I have 5, and then in brackets 2x plus 3. And I do the same technique over here. What do I times this by to get to this? Well, I times by 2x plus 1. So I'm going to do the same thing to the top. 2x plus 1. Once you're done that, I've got my denominators the same. I can now subtract the numerators. But before I do that, I'm just going to expand them because it's going to make things a bit easier. So 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times plus 3 would be 15. And then obviously that's still all over my 2x plus 1, 2x plus 3. And then I'm going to take away, and again I'm going to expand this bracket, so 3 times 2x is 6x, 3 times 1 is 3, and again it's still all over 2x plus 1, 2x plus 3, okay? And like I said, because the denominators are the same, I can now subtract the numerators. So I'm going to put my denominator in, so I know it's already going to be the same. And 10x minus 6x is 4x. And if you're going to make a mistake, this is where it's going to be. Remember, it's 15 take away 3, not 15 add 3. Remember, you're still taking away this. So 15 take away 3 leaves me with 12. And if you wanted to simplify it even further, you could then factorize this into a single bracket to have the following. I just noticed I missed my bracket off there. Okay, so that's how you do one if you're subtracting. Obviously, it's exactly the same if you're adding, except at this stage, obviously, you would add the numerators, not subtract them. Okay, so that's those examples. And just to be absolutely 100% sure everyone's happy, I'm now going to do a really horrible one. Just bear with me a second. Like so. So you're looking at this and you're thinking, oh, yeah, that's a bit juicy. So let's give this one a go. So this one here, I'm going to use a slightly different technique because, again, I'm adding and subtracting the fractions, so I want to make the denominators all the same. So you're looking at this thinking, hell, that's going to be one hell of a denominator, and you'd be right. However, like I said at the start of the video, you need to know how to factorize, because actually if you factorize all of these, it does look a lot nicer. So if I factorize this, I'm going to have 3 on the outside, x plus 2. And then factorize the next one, 5 on the outside, and again, x plus 2 on the inside. And take away 2, and then this one here, 15 will go on the outside, and again x plus 2. So as you can see, in the brackets, I have x plus 2, x plus 2, x plus 2. However, they are still different. That's a 3 on the outside, that's a 5, and that's a 15. So I still need to make them the same denominator before I can do any adding or subtracting. Hopefully, though, you might be already ahead of the game. If I want the lowest common multiple of all these, well, 3 will go into 15 and 5 will go into 15. So I'm going to make all the denominators 15 and then in brackets x plus 2. So here we go then. Let's just put that in. I'm taking those away, aren't I? So 15 x plus 2. And obviously we're adding them, okay? So, exactly the same process as the previous example. What do I times this by to get to that? Well, it's the same, so I'm just timesing it by 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. It just stays the same. This one here, what do I times 5x plus 2 to get 15x plus 2? Well, 5 times 3 will get me 15. So do the same to the top. 1 times 3 is 3. And the last one over here, how do I go from 3 to 15? I times by 5, so 1 times by 5 is 5. So my denominators are all now the same, and I can now add the numerators. So let's do that then. So what am I going to have on the bottom? Well, that's obviously going to be 15x plus 2, and then I can just add these. 5 add 3 is 8, take away 2 is 6. And then the last little step here, you might notice that 3 will go into 15 and 6, so I can cancel those out by dividing by 3. So I'll have 2 and then 5 x plus 2 would be the most simplest version of that. So it looks horrible, and if you were to do the same trick of timesing all these together, it would be quite big. So have a little look. Can you factorize them to get the same thing? Just another little thing to be aware of, so you don't do too much work. Hopefully that helps, guys. Cheers.